Rakeem Christmas, my client, is operating under horrific working conditions. He has scored more than 25% of the team's points this year. He leads the team in points, rebounding, and blocks. He's going out there 1 against 5, day in and day out. He deserves some compensation for this kind of environment. Roll it back, see how he even got to that point. So once again, he takes the handoff, and right there, this man, Quay Man, who, by the way, Duke has 2 players on their team named Quay. There's a fun fact. But Quay Man's right next to him. He even puts his hand on his back, but doesn't wrap him up, tries to run around and tackle him 10 yards later. By that time, it's far too late. And if Adonis Amin Moore can play the role that James Conner just did as that big bruising back, that's how Syracuse can take advantage of those poor tackles on the defensive side of Duke.
Syracuse offense definitely hoping to feel some type of Quay this weekend. Varun, let's send it back to you.
The problem is, I think, that Syracuse has their one go-to guy in Rakeem Christmas. Who you can count on him every night. But then they don't seem to be able to put all the pieces together at one time around Christmas. One game, Michael Benajay has a great game. The next game, he's kind of off. Caleb Joseph and Cooney might step up, but there's no bench scoring. So this game, the bench stepped up. B.J. Johnson had an amazing game, and Joseph and Cooney were nowhere to be found. Well, NC State did have that tough skid there, but they got back on track against Syracuse. I'm taking the Wolfpack in this one. Let me tell you something, Marcus. Georgia Tech has allowed more than 20 points in every away game this season. Now, NC State has won every game in which they've scored more than 20 points, except against Florida State. And I mean, it's Florida State. How can you blame them? I guess I'm in a passing mood. I'm going to dish this as well. I think Duke will definitely take care of Syracuse, and they may shoot well from behind the arc. I think they'll get close to 7, but Duke plays better when they can drive and get easy shots towards the hoop, and I think they'll be able to do that against the Syracuse defense. I know they play the zone, but Rakeem Christmas is going to have to watch out for Jahlil Okafor nonetheless, so he won't be able to help as much, and I think Duke will be penetrating into the lane and won't have to take as many threes. And then injuries stepped in this game, too, with Cooney struggling with the back issue, and Roberson just caught an elbow in the first half, played most of the second half with an eye patch and some cotton swabs in his nose, so I'm sure it wasn't most fun game for Roberson out there. Yeah, I agree with you, Michael. Clearly, Jim Boeheim did not want to leave the university and leave his basketball team after so many years coaching here and even a student here. He didn't want to leave that in a poor situation and look like he was jumping ship at the wrong time. So I think 3 years will be enough time for him to stay on and make sure that Syracuse basketball has a bright future.
The ruling.
Your Honor, Varun, my client has worked his entire career for this moment. A.J. Long is just a freshman quarterback. He's made a lot of mistakes, 6 interceptions, and just 4 touchdowns on the year. Terrell Hunt's career should not be jeopardized by a fluke injury and this kid coming in and stealing the job that was rightfully his. Both these teams are extremely talented, so I think the game is going to be a bit of a toss-up, which is why my X factor is whichever team has more intimidating eye black. You see all these lacrosse players after the game in the post-game press conference, they've got eye black all over their face. I think whoever has more intimidating is going to win.